welcome to another exciting episode of Mike Go, 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 Go. Wha! And in this episode, we're going to be finishing up some brown rice prep. This is part 2 of prepping some brown rice. Now, I lined my used old still air box that I made with some paper towel and dumped my rice in here to allow it to surface dry quicker, right? I wanted to show myself loading this pot with jars, right? And talk about it and all that and what I did wrong in the first episode. And then, this is actually my third attempt at trying to do part 2. I keep losing my signal. It keeps dropping and it cuts me short. And then I'm sitting there talking, thinking I'm reconnected and that it's recording me again, and it's not. So then it only ends up recording like two minutes or something. What up, bro? What up? So I wanted to explain real quick something I did wrong in part 1, and let that serve as an example of definitely not what. Let it serve as an example of what you should definitely not do. And I took my hydrated rice after cooking it. It was just the perfect right consistency. It was partially cooked, hydrated. It was just at the right. It was right where I wanted it. I didn't want it cooked any more than that. And what you're supposed to do is dump it in your strainer, right, and immediately rinse it off with cold water. Well, I neglected to do that because I'm an idiot, because I said I was going to, and then I completely skipped that step like I was doing any other type of grain where you don't have to worry about rinsing off the excess starch right away. With rice, you have to, because otherwise it kind of turns into cement in your jars and you can't break it up. And it also makes it harder to pasteurize or sterilize. So this rice looks okay though. It's not mushy. I didn't turn it to mush, but it did cook a little bit more because I didn't rinse it off right away. So hopefully it'll be all right. If not, I'll do more brown rice. I have a whole nother bag. But let that serve as an example of what not to do when using brown rice. Rinse it off as soon as you're done hydrating it and you dump it in your strainer. It's boiling hot, but rinse it off with cold water right away because it's going to keep cooking if you don't. You don't want that. You want it to stop cooking because you're going to then put it in jars and cook it even further. You don't want it to be mushy rice by the time you're done. Hey, what up? What up? How's y'all's day going? Sorry, I had to get that out of the way real quick before it just ended again real quick. I keep losing my signal and it just drops. Third time's charm, right? So now I have my brown rice in here and I got my water up to boiling. Then I turned it down to a simmer. Now it's like a medium simmer. I don't want it at a high simmer. It sounds like it's boiling, but it's not. It makes it sound like it's boiling because of the way that I have the trivet. It just sounds like it's more aggressively boiling than it is. It's at a medium simmer. That's what I want. I don't want it to be too hot. I want it to overcook my rice and turn it all mushy. It already overcooked a little more than I wanted it to. So hopefully it's going to be all right. I mean, we're going to find out together, right? Hopefully, even if it does get mushy, it's like not too mushy. And we're going to find out though, no matter what, I still got my popcorn. My popcorn's ready to go. As soon as I get my liquid culture in, I'm going to inoculate the popcorn that I have sitting in my still air box, right? Oh yeah, by the way, this is going to simmer for an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Then it's done. Then I'm going to get them out, crank down the lids, tighten them down. While they're still hot, give them a quick little hot shake. They don't have to be boiling. They don't have to be hot, right? You can get them out while they're like warm. You don't want to let them cool off before giving them a hot shake, what they call a hot shake, because if you don't, and you wait until they're completely cooled off and you shake the grains, there's still going to be a whole bunch of excess moisture on the outside of the grains in the jar, and you want that grain to mix up and then reabsorb that moisture that it kind of let out while it was cooking. You want it to suck up as much of that moisture as you can get it to. So do a hot shake, get it out while it's still pretty hot. Doesn't have to be super hot. Put oven mitts on, whatever. That's what I do. After tightening your lids down, give it a quick hot shake. Then go put it in your still air box or in front of your laminar flow hood if you got one. I've never had one. I've never worked with one. Broke son of a bitch. Maybe in the future I'll either make one and show you guys how you can DIY your own flow hood. Why not? They'll be in the future though. In the future, another time, another place. So yeah, take your hot jars while they're still warm, shake them up, go put them in front of your laminar flow hood that you have already running for a few minutes, or put them in your still air box and let them cool off, let them finish cooling off. When they're done cooling off completely, then they're ready to use. You can inoculate it with some kind of mushroom mycelium, whatever kind you have, whatever you want to use. Let me know what you're working with. Sorry, I'm eating some of my extra rice. I got a bit of extra rice here. A little bit. I was shooting for like 4 or 5 jars, about 3/4 full of rice. And I ended up with like 6 jars, 3/4 full. And a little bit of extra. But I still got a whole nother bag of brown rice. So if all this rice is messed up, I'm just going to make dang sure next time I prep brown rice that I don't make the mistake I did this time, right? That's how you learn. You make your mistakes to learn from. And if you don't, then I don't know what to say. But usually you make a mistake, you learn from it, right? You don't give up. You just take note of what you did wrong and you don't do that next time, right? What did I do wrong? I didn't rinse it off right away because I completely blanked that part. Even though I said it in the video, I'm like, you got to rinse your rice off as soon as you're done cooking it, for this reason and this reason and this reason. And then I didn't do that. Completely spaced, messed up, my bad. Don't do that. Hopefully it'll be all right. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too bad, but we'll see, Hopefully it won't matter too much. And I caught it in time to not overcook too much, I hope. But we're going to find out together. And plus I got more rice I can do. And I got my popcorn that's just waiting to be inoculated. So I'm not too worried. Try and try again. It's a good lesson though. Yeah, I mean, hey, one of my new mantras, my new mottos is like persistence is key, right? Persistence is key. You fall down off that horse, you get your ass back up on it. Learn how not to fall off, or if you do fall off a lot, learn how to fall so you don't break any bones, right? I'm being super literal, but not, and just, yeah, persistence is key. Don't give up. Never give up. Brown rice is actually pretty good. Even just as is, I'm sitting here just munching on brown rice. I'll probably take this little bit of extra and either eat it like I'm doing right now, but like with a spoon, I'll probably put it in a bowl and eat it. Or I could just go dump it out for the mini birds that like to peck around in the grass. They like green too. Birds like green, but so do rodents. So if you're worried about mice and stuff like that, don't dump a bunch of grain around your house, unless you're not worried about them getting in. Like they're not going to be getting in your house and let in by the smell of grain. That's another good point. Actually, is every time I've ever had a large amount of grain, like some of you people out there, I'm sure, buy giant bags of grain and do lots of grain, like I was like that at one point. I used to do a lot of grain, right? A lot of whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of grain, bird seed, rice, whatever. But if you got that much grain in your house, you know what it attracts? Mice. Mice love grain. So you know what a good idea is? If you have a bunch of grain in your house, to keep it in a metal, like a solid metal trash can, something they can't eat through, easily anyway. I used to have a metal trash can with a lid, and that's where I kept all my grain in. So you got to worry about mice getting in there and living and breeding in your grain because that can happen. So something to be aware of. You got a lot of grain, you might want to keep it in a big metal trash can or something that you can close with a lid. Yeah. I've never had an issue like that, but I've always been careful enough to keep my stuff in a metal vessel. I already know that mice love grain and that they can be attracted to it. And, I've worked on a kind of like homestead sort of, before. I've worked on like a homestead before where like, they had a lot of grain because they had ducks and chickens and quail and, all this stuff. And they kept their grain in a big metal trash can, right? Because the mice will get at it. Even then, sometimes you'll open it up. Somehow a mouse got in there. You're just like, what the heck? So I'd go get the farm cat, right? I'd go get Smiley. Be like, come here, Smiley. And I'd show him, and I'd just kind of like dip him in there, and he'd just grab the mouse, If he wouldn't eat it, sometimes he'd just carry it around in his mouth, let it go. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'd take the mouse and go throw it to the chickens. They'll eat it. Chickens will eat mice. They'll eat anything you throw them. You throw them a big fat caterpillar or a worm or something, they'll all just run towards it. Little dinosaurs, man. It's crazy. Hopefully I'm still coming in all right. I don't know if my signal dropped again. It doesn't say that, but sorry, I'm just sitting here munching on my brown rice. I guess that basically concludes the video. I hope it went through all right. It's been good, man. That's what's up. See, I didn't even know if I was still coming through. I had to do this video 3 times now, this live stream. Actually, before I conclude, are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions, or you just want to talk about something? It doesn't have to be a super short video. We can talk real quick. I don't really have much going on right at the moment, other than I'm gonna go dump some. I probably am just gonna dump some of this brown rice. I'm not gonna eat it. I got plenty more, and I'm gonna eat my baked potato that I meant to eat last night for dinner, and I didn't, or the night before. I got a big old baked potato just waiting to be heated up. Can you talk more about the laminar hood? Yeah, so a laminar flow hood, right? Laminar flow refers to a specific type of airflow, right? It's a type of airflow that is smooth and uniform, and it's not choppy. So like one way you can tell if you've achieved a perfect laminar flow is if you have your laminar flow hood, you turned it on, and one way you can tell it's actually a laminar, it has laminar flows. You can flick a lighter. Let me see, here's a lighter. You can flick a lighter in front of it, right? And it will bend at like a 90-degree angle, and it will just go like that. But it will be a smooth flame, right? It'll be a smooth flow of air. It's not going to be like, you're not going to see your flame flickering every which way and all this. It's going to be a smooth, just going in one direction without being a bunch of like movement, right? That's what you want. You want a smooth flow of air that's being filtered through a HEPA filter, right? And if you can achieve that, you have a laminar flow with the correct HEPA filter filtering the air, and then you have air being forced through that filter, and it's smooth and it's not choppy, then that's what you need. You need clean, sterile air that is smooth. That is how a laminar flow hood works. And yeah, people use them in I forget what I was going to say. I remember someone scored one from some lab, but I think it was like and I forget. I remember someone got one really cheap on Craigslist that was used for some kind of lab somewhere, and it was a really nice, like vertical downward flow hood. Most of the ones I see are like forward, like they're like in front of you, and you're working in front of it instead of it blowing clean air down, and then it's like coming towards you, I guess. So it's like you're working in. It's still laminar flow. It's just like some of them, I guess, are like set up here, and then they blow down, right? Like some of the bigger, fancier ones or whatever. What's a good one to buy? Well, you can get them in all kinds of shapes and sizes now. Like, because not everyone's a commercial grower, right? Not everyone's doing a lot of grain spawn. Some people just need a little laminar flow hood for a little bit of space to work in. So you can get those. They're way cheaper, you know? There's a website called Lab Rat Flow Hoods or Lab Rat Flow Hoods or something like that you can check out, and they have custom flow hoods of all different sizes, and they're pretty cool and they're not too expensive. But no matter what, laminar flow hoods are kind of pricey. So eventually, I'll probably just show how you can make one with you need a squirrel cage fan or something like that, a tote with a lid that has a gasket and the correct HEPA filter, and like some silicone to like glue it all together. Because I saw a video where Gordo Tech, he's another mycologist YouTuber that shows how to do a bunch of DIY low-tech stuff, like how to make your own laminar flow hood. And it was watching one of his videos that I learned all about, like how you can not only make one, but what is an actual, what does laminar flow mean, and how you can test and make sure it is an actual. Because I saw at least one other person make a laminar flow hood, and then he like flicked his lighter, right? He flicked his lighter and it was all like, it was all choppy and it was not smooth. It was not laminar flow. And everyone in the comments said the same thing. That is not laminar flow. And then dude's like, it works fine for me. Well, that may be, but that's still not laminar flow. It's some pretty choppy flow. It might be clean air coming through there, but that's creating a lot of movement, which means that it creates a lot of room for error because like there's contaminants coming in from every angle all the time, right? Which is why you want to work right in front of your laminar flow hood and center of the flow. You don't even want to be close to the side of the air current because there's contamination constantly trying to come in from every angle, right? So you can work in a still air box, right? And that works just fine. That's a whole other different angle of and way of keeping out contaminants because you're creating an enclosed space that you can control a little bit better. As for any potential contaminants that are flowing around, you can spray rubbing alcohol in there and it's going to catch all the heavier particles and stick them to the sides of the still air box and also make them drop to the bottom. So that's how you use a still air box compared to like a laminar flow hood, which you already want to have running, by the way, before you even go in there and put anything in front of it. You want to have it cycling some clean air for a couple minutes before you actually go set your stuff in front of it that you want to be working it. Like a lot of people will take their pressure canner when it's done and go set it in front of their laminar flow hood to cool, because when they cool off enough, it can create a vacuum which sucks contaminated stuff and air into it and even into your jars or your agar or whatever it is. So like it's good to have a laminar flow hood to work with if you want to immediately take your stuff out of your pressure canner and put it in front of your flow hood, and it also cools it down quicker too. I mean, because it's moving air. So yeah, that was a good question though. Are there any other questions you guys got? Sorry, I'm just munching on rice. I guess I'm hungrier than I thought. I always eat before I do these videos, and I still get hungry because I'm working with grain. Popcorn and rice. I like popcorn. I like rice to eat, not just for making mushroom spawn. Check my pot. Turn down just a tiny bit. It's more at a strong simmer now than a medium, and I want a medium simmer. I don't want it to overcook because, like I said, I already almost overcooked it in the part 1 video. Totally messed up on that one. Still not completely dark here yet, but it's getting dark. It's almost getting completely dark. I can still see the sky and clouds and everything. How's it looking over in Tejas, Texas, or Illinois? How's the weather where y'all at? Hopefully I'm still coming through all right. So in case I didn't already say this, because I did do this video 3 times over, and I'm trying to remember if I said it in this video already or not, but just to reiterate, this is going to simmer for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, hour and a half. Then it's done, right? I'm going to pull them out. You don't have to pull them out immediately, but while they're still hot, you want to pull them out, crank down the lid, tighten it, shake it a little bit. You'll put it in your still air box or in front of your laminar flow hood that you've already had running for a few minutes. It's raining here. It never rains and storms, so I'm happy. Well, heck yeah. See, I guess having never been to Texas, I just assume it's raining and storming there all the time. I hear about floods and stuff in Texas and stuff like that. So I'm just assuming there's like just crazy downpours all the time out of nowhere. So I had no idea. Storming right now. Weather here usually sucks. Yeah. I believe it, but shoot, we grew up in Blytheville, Arkansas, where the weather really sucks. It's just always hot and humid and chock full of mosquitoes everywhere, man. It was just, you'd be sweating, you'd be outside, even at night, like it's still hot a lot of times, still warm and humid, and you'd be sweating. And that attracts even more mosquitoes because they just know, And then, like, if you stop moving, the mosquitoes will just land on you and start biting you and eat. So you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving and moving. You can't stop. If you're outside, if you stop, you just all of a sudden a bunch of mosquitoes going to land on you. That's what we had to deal with growing up. We lived right south of a bunch of rice fields. Also, Blytheville, that whole area used to be a swamp before people went there and like drained all the swamps and shit and cut down trees and all that. No, it's because we are in the Panhandle. It's completely different weather than most of Texas. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it must make sense because I would assume. I mean, plus Texas is a big state. It's a huge state. I'm sure it's more diverse than what I have in my mind just thinking Texas, I've never been there. My dad lived there. I've never been. Hello, it's funny because I don't even have to worry about the skaters here. Skaters! It's a very Arkansan way of saying mosquito. Skaters! I was at a Dolly Parton Dixie Stampede rodeo show in Branson, Missouri, and they had this guy, and his name was Skater from Arkansas, and he was like this major hillbilly motherfucker. He had these overall, I'm Skater from Arkansas, I thought that was hilarious. Accurate as fuck, but hilarious. Yeah, in Blytheville, you could make mosquito air angel. Basically, yeah. That's not a good thing. You could be walking fast and just fill them in the air walking through them like they're trying to land on you. But if you keep walking fast enough, then they won't have the opportunity to land on you. But sometimes, you end up slacking. You start going too slow, or if you completely forget, all of a sudden the next thing you know, you're covered in fucking mosquitoes and they're trying to get at you. Little flying devils. Arkansas. Yep. Back in Arkansas after being gone for 11 years. Left when I was like 21. 32 now. Don't seem like it, man. Time flew by. I honestly didn't think I'd ever be coming back to Arkansas, except maybe, just to visit my dad or whatever, but I didn't really ever see myself coming back. I saw myself going just about anywhere else other than Arkansas. But like sometimes in life you fall on hard times and you don't have a choice. It was either here or the street for me, you know what I mean? So here I am back in Arkansas trying to get back on my own 2 feet, but I plan on doing it, I got a job interview coming up, that's something to look forward to. First thing I'm going to save up for is getting a new car, and things are looking up from there, you know what I mean? I hope I get the job. Been too long, bro. Yes, it has. We need to kick it soon, dude. I'm like I said, I'm trying to save up for a car. Where we live is the windiest place in the U.S. Really. I remember every time I'd go to like this one area of Missouri, which was just north of where we lived, it was always super windy, just all the time, always windy. And I'm sitting there like, they could probably put in like wind power generators, windmills to generate power out there, because the wind never stops. I swear, like just north of northeast Arkansas in Missouri, it's like always fucking windy. It's like weird. Seems like it to me anyway. Every time I was there, I'd get out of the car and I'd be like, why is it so fucking windy? Like my dad would go to this gas station called CarMax, because in northeast Arkansas, they have like dry Sundays. It's like dry. You can't buy alcohol on Sundays, so everyone goes across the state line to buy their alcohol on Sunday. Which really, where I lived in Gosnell, Arkansas, is right on the border. I could walk across the border to Missouri from my house in just a few minutes. They had a little place there you could buy beer called Cables. It was just a few minutes walk from my house. So like, so what? You can't buy liquor on Sunday. All you have to do is just take a short hike that way, and there you go. Wait, where am I? Okay. It's windy as fuck, hot as fuck, and it smells like cow shit. There's a lot of cows around here, but strangely enough, it doesn't smell like cow shit. But we're not like right by a bunch of cows, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of cows through the Ozarks, like Angus, red and black Angus cows, mainly. But there's all kinds of cows out here, but it's mainly like red and black Angus. You'll get the job. Yeah, thank you. Good luck on the job. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing the YouTube thing. I'm not going to quit. I considered quitting, but, why? Why should I? I have more reasons to keep doing it rather than not to. I do hope I get that job, though. Like, I used to always get the job. Like almost every interview I've ever gone to, I got the job, up until I lived in West Dundee. And there's a lot of people around there. I think that was a big part of it. But like I went to so many interviews living in West Dundee, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago. A lot of people looking for jobs. And I went to a lot of job interviews, not only one-on-one interviews, but group interviews and all kinds of interviews, right? And it took me a while to get a job, and that kind of just like destroyed my self-esteem, I guess, around the ability to just like go out and get a job. You know, it's never been hard for me to go out and find work. Usually, like if I get the interview, usually it's like I'm already like thinking I'm gonna get the job. Like it's almost a sure thing. But now I don't feel that way because after living in Dundee and going through so many job interviews and not getting the job, I'm like, crap. You know, I think it was just because there's a lot of people around here. You know, but there aren't quite as many people here as there are in West Dundee, so I'm not as worried. But I'm a little bit, you know, standoffish about it. But I'm going to the interview. I'm gonna try to get the job. I'm gonna talk myself up, you know, all that jazz. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I get the job. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my damnedest. I'm gonna go get some new non-slip shoes. I don't want to open my pot too often, right? I don't want to let a bunch of heat out all the time, but I also need to keep an eye on the water level and on how well it's boiling or not. It's in a good medium simmer now, so I don't need to adjust it. If anything, I may need to add some more water. And to do that, like I always say, you want to heat your water up first. Get it really hot, steaming hot in the microwave, or get some boiling water going in a pot to then add to this boiling pot of water, because you don't want to pour cold water in there and shatter all your jars, because that will happen. It's called thermal shock. Don't do that. It was very wait, where am I? It was very interesting visiting Blytheville the times I've been there. Yeah, there ain't too much good I can say about Blytheville, but you know, I grew up there. I survived it. So did Terrence. You know, there's good and bad anywhere you go, but that area in particular, you got to watch yourself. There'd be some crazy motherfuckers around there. Like one of my oldest memories actually was like of hearing about meth houses blowing up and shit, and then seeing the house like smoldering the next day, or like of seeing tweakers like ducking around in the bushes, like fucking gone off their ass. You know what I mean? Like that's wow. You know, that's the area I grew up in. And from what I've heard, it's only gotten worse. You know, since I left, I hear people talk about like certain areas and stuff being the ghetto, and I'm just like, y'all motherfuckers don't have the nearest clue as to what a ghetto actually is. If you think this is a ghetto, like you have no fucking clue how bad it can get. And you see every other house burnt down on that street. Everyone's got bars on their windows and fences and guard dogs. And you see people posted up outside, like, you know, at the trap, like this, you know, keeping guard. You know, you're in the fucking hood. When you see some shit like that, you know you're in a sketchy part of the neighborhood. But that's where I grew up. You know, I used to walk around there. Luckily, I never ran into any trouble, but I also sometimes walk around with a big ass dog on a leash. Like, who's gonna fuck with you when you have a big ass dog with you? You know what I mean? Nobody. Glad to know. Oh, yeah, thank you. Because I'm good at it. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's because of the economy. It's not how it used to be. So don't think it's you. Right? Yeah, that place sucks. Well, hey, we're not there anymore. We ain't got to worry about it. there's very few reasons I would ever go back to that area, right? And it would be to see some of the few people that were good that I knew from that area, right? Like, or it would have been also to like go to Jerry Lynn, go get some Jerry Lynn's donuts, man. Some jelly stuffed fucking potato bread Jerry Lynn's donuts, or some of them pulled pork sandwiches you could get from the Razorback shack in front of the Ghetto Haze, man. Oh man, that would be a reason to go back to Blytheville. But I heard that shack ain't even there no more. And I don't know about Jerry Lynn's. I think it's still a thing, but like someone else is running the show now. I don't know. But the few reasons I would go back, man, I'm just thinking it's not a lot. There is a time capsule that was buried when I was like a little squirt. Because I remember walking around like being really young when they were burying this time capsule in Walker Park in Blytheville. And if I live to be like 100 or something, I can go back there and watch it get dug up. So I don't think I'm gonna live to be that old. But if I do, and I'm still able to remember anything about it, then I'll go back to that time capsule in Walker Park and watch it get open. And I can tell everyone, man, I was here when I was a little squirt and I was walking around picking up little squirrel skulls and stuff. Because there's just squirrels everywhere at Walker Park. Always has been. They're not afraid of people either. They'll come right up to you and like steal your food. I think Jerry Lynn's still around, or however you spell it. Yeah, that's how you spell it, I think. Pretty sure. I think that barbecue shack got quit. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I heard like one of the older folk, like the old guy running the shack, died or something. So it is what it is. But I had a pulled pork sandwich that was pretty good at this place called Holy Smokes here in Mountain Home, and it was pretty good. It was different, but it just made me miss that place, that shack. It made me want one of them other pulled pork sandwiches. Not that it was bad, but I just got hit with a wave of like whatever you want to call it, nostalgia. I was just hit with a wave of it, and I'm like, man, you know what I could go for one of them pulled pork sandwiches with the cabbage and that barbecue sauce that they had. That stuff was so good, and they loaded you up with so much that like by the time you're done eating it, like you have so much that fell off of it and left over that you can take another bun and just make a whole nother sandwich. It was like they hooked you up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna call it at that, y'all. I don't really have much else for this plan for this episode. I just wanted to show how to finish prepping your brown rice. You do it for an hour and a half. Blah, blah, blah. You do your hot shake. You take it up to your still air box or in front of your laminar flow hood. You let it cool off, and then you're ready to inoculate with some kind of mushroom mycelium. Hopefully I didn't ruin my rice in the part one, not rinsing it off right away like I was supposed to. But at least I explained the right protocol, the right procedure to follow that you're supposed to do. Every other step I did correctly, but I'm totally messed up on that part, which is a very important part of the process. So I do have a whole nother bag of rice, and I'm going to prep more brown rice in the future, and I'm going to make sure that when I do it that time, that I do it correctly. So yeah, let this time serve as an example of what not to do, right? So, all right, I guess I'm going to end the video at that. But thank you, everyone, for joining me in this here episode. I appreciate everyone that comes in and talks and says what's up and gives me good questions to follow up with and all that. Like, I really appreciate it. It's awesome having you guys here to share this whole experience with. It's cool. I like having you all along. I appreciate you guys so much. Love you. And I'm going to call it at that. All right. Y'all have a good one. Good night.